from this I was prepared. So we can have one, but at least we still can do it. So I hope we can have a secondary operation center and in addition they one operation center. So I would thank that there was previously during 2 years AMC was there for this POGF fund. But now ministry has already agreed that they will give us for 5 year AMC along with the security operations center. So kindly apply for POGF and complete your DPRs and I hope will do it soon. So with this, I will conclude my response to this one. Thank you all. I mean, this conference a very great success. I know we will together definitely fight with this cyber security. I know that you are the young generation, always take this lead ahead. Thank you all. Thank you for listening my few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sri N.S. Mandal is presently serving in the capacity of Member Secretary of the CERT-Power Committee. Early on in his career, he joined the prestigious Central Electricity Authority through integrated service track. During his tenure in CERT, he has had a very reputation in Durgapur station of Brahmaputra Corporation. He has worked in various divisions of CEA headquarters as wide to cover power projects spanning and development, monitoring, and renovation and modernization. In the Eastern Regional Power Committee, he is looking after the whole planning among Committee Power Eastern India, West Bengal, West Jharkhand, Bengal, City. He is also the chairperson of the Disaster Management Group at East Region for the power sector. And of course, Tamil Nadu Corporation has had a very long association with Mandal Sir. So maybe now invite Sri N.S. Mandal on the podium to deliver a special address to the audience today.
Grid India, from ERLDC, from NERPC, sitting on the dais, from LKS Rathore, he's quoted basically because of him only. I think this today's workshop has been organized on his behest. Ladies and gentlemen, and other officials from different organizations, we have come here today, and earlier also we have hosted this type of workshop, but not to this volume. This is a very huge gatherings today we can see, and objective is that our cyber security platform should be most robust, and for that we are presently recent past we have faced different type of threats, especially from the manufacturing of various imported material, even some spurious, you can say, programmings also. We are uploading some programs that may be some virus in the system. But power sector, to some extent, we are more resilient and no such big incidents has occurred till now. But we should not be satisfied because anytime anything may happen, but if it happens, it will be very disaster. In my opinion, more participation power sector of all the other extent, we are more resilient, and from the generating companies till now, from the transmission companies, we should not be satisfied. From the distribution companies also, anytime need to be associated. But if it happens, because it is a completely integrated system. And in my opinion, one more participation of all the other or some other technology we are adopting from the generating companies, from the communication channel has become a very wide distribution companies also not only limited need to be associated because it is a completely
or
integrated
RLDCs
system
or some
and as
central utilities.
one we are going
Now it has become a
smart
very
meter or
small
some other
generator
technology
companies
we
are
are
there.
adopting
In
maybe solar, maybe
communication
wind,
channel
maybe
has become a
other
very widespread.
agencies. It is not only limited to
Everybody has to be
certain
sensitized regarding
SLDCs
this
or RLDCs or
aspect
some
of
cyber
central
security.
utilities. And
Now it has
standard
become a
products
very
has to be small generator companies are there
in
purchase
maybe
only
solar,
purchase
maybe
because
wind, maybe
there are
other
some
agencies.
substandard product.
Because
Everybody
of some,
has to be sensitized
economics,
regarding
cost
this
economics we do,
aspect of
and
cybersecurity.
we ignore the
And standard product has to
inherent
be threat
purchase
on
only
all
purchase
this
in
because
our house
there
today.
are
You will
some
see
substandard
a lot
product
of people are
because
utilizing
of
some
CCTV
economics,
camera,
cost economics we do,
some other
and we
small
ignore the
appliances, even the mobiles we are
inherent.
having.
But we do not
Threat
know how much
on
it
all
is
this.
in our house today. You will see a lot of people are utilizing some of CCTV camera, but in
some other small
larger
appliances,
aspect,
even the
like in the
mobiles we
power
are having.
sector, we should
But
be
we do
very,
not
very
know how much it is
vigil,
security proof.
and in our office also in ERPC we
But
have
in
installed one
larger
honey trap.
aspect, like in the power
And
sector,
lot of
we should be very, very
threats are coming with some
vigil.
And in our office also in ERPC we have installed one honey trap, and lot of threats are coming which sometimes some threats are being logged on there, and CSART is also addressing those. And this CSART also now should come in the regional level. Now actually they are operating at only Delhi, from Delhi central level. But I think today a time has come, they should start operating at regional level, because RPC or other regional, we may not be that much, we are hardcore engineers, because mechanical or electrical support we are doing like that only. But this IT sector experts are totally different kind of sector. It is so much fast changing. It is not like that. It is a electrical system. It was invented 100 years back. It's still running the same. Almost it is the same principle. In mechanical also, all the theories, all the basic applications are almost same. But in case of IT sector, it is fast changing, and some new blood, new persons should be involved, and it is very dynamic also. So we should be very, very up to date. One positive point is that once you make one thing foolproof, your maybe antivirus or anti security threats, whatever you can do, it can be passed on to each and every person within fraction of second. That is the biggest thing. It is not like other tools, or if you get something new, some wrong principles there, design is there. What we do, it populate it very gradually. It develops very. It takes much time. But in cyber security, if you have some solution, you can share it with all the persons in a fraction of second. So that mechanism has to be done, and it should be monitored. It should be done in a centralized way, so that each and every individual should be comfortable position. They should not be that much break their heads on the security threat. And they should be allowed to work in a peaceful environment, basically. I am thankful to DVC for organizing this event in such a large manner, and we are also thankful to the NER people. Some persons from NER, they are also they are present here. Now time has come that we can do in a larger, also in a national level also, maybe some workshop can be organized, because theory is same, sensitization has to be done, and some standards has to be made. And I think today's workshop will be more fruitful if it is made a interactive way, not just giving some theories and some guidelines from the upward, but what actual difficulties people are facing and what is their limitation to achieve those targets. That has to be also jotted down by our nodal officers, so that we also get some support from the ministries or some higher offices. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Sri S. Suresh Kumar, Senior IAS, assumed the charge of Chairman Damodar Valley Corporation with effect from 1st January 2024, and he has recently assumed the additional charge of Member Secretary DVC. Sri Kumar joined the Indian Administrative Services in the West Bengal cadre in 1988. Sri S. Suresh Kumar served as the Additional Chief Secretary to the Government of West Bengal Power Department since November 19 till April 23 and was also assigned the additional charge of Non-Conventional Energy Resources Department, Government of West Bengal. Sri Kumar has served a multitude of administrative posts during his career span, one of the most significant being the Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India from 2008 to 2014. He brings with him a vast repertoire of experience in both the technical and the administrative domains. May we now take the honor to invite Sri S. Suresh Kumar, IAS, Chairman Damodar Valley Corporation, onto the podium to address our delegates and audience today. Thanks, sir, please.
Thank you, Mary. Good morning, everyone. On the dais, Mr. N.S. Mandal, Mr. Sutradhar, Mr. Rathod, Mr. Jagtap, Mr. Srinivas, Member Technical, Member Finance of DVC, CISOs from various organizations in the Eastern region and some from the Northeast also, and executives from various organizations who are present here today. I'm very thankful to CSIRT as well as ERLDC and the ERPC for giving DVC an opportunity to conduct this workshop. And secondly, I'm also thankful to ERLDC for bringing out a very nice photo collaboration documentation that they managed to bring out, which shows their efforts in trying to get every organization to collaborate and learn from each other. I think currently cybersecurity per se, in my opinion, maybe not, is the last priority in every utility currently. Now, until and unless the managing director or the chief executive does not understand that this is the highest priority, I think we are actually doomed to end up in a disaster. It is definitely a responsibility of the CISO to somehow project and get the attention of the chief executive officer or the managing director of a utility. And if he fails, then it's a failure of the CSO also. So this is the first issue that I would like to bring out. The second issue, which I think needs to be thought about, is that we call it cyber security. The minute you call it cyber security, at the back of the mind, everyone thinks it's just a security issue. There is nothing active about it. It's a very passive thing. Okay. Now, when anyone understands it has to be a passive issue, then it does not get the priority that it should get. Now, we all understand that our energy system is actually a highly interconnected islands of various parts all over the country. As it was being mentioned since 2013, when the grid had become completely one grid, one country in India, the interconnection is extremely high, which of a very high order. Most of it is being done through IT and OT systems. Yes, we do have a system where the IT and the OT, there is a very strong air gap which has been put in position. But I don't know how many of you understand. In fact, I was reading a paper, in fact, where they were saying that I think I've circulated among my officers also. I think you can pick it up from there. It's called electricity, AI and electricity, in fact, which I circulated in my group also. Their paper was reporting that there was a 70% increase in threats, cyber threats or cyber attacks in American utilities last year. So you can understand that every year it is increasing. Last year, in fact, one German utility was almost shut down after a major threat, major intrusion, in fact. And it was done through a very easily available, publicly available malware in the system. So you can understand that it's not difficult nowadays for anyone, even a normal hacker, to access any malware and definitely try and see to it that it enters the system. See, all you need is to spoof someone's email account or something of the order, and the guy opens it, automatically the malware gets installed and starts spreading within the system. And it spreads within instantaneously. I mean, there's no waiting for it. It spreads instantaneously. That's one. Second thing, which I think I want to elaborate also, is that we are living in a cyber physical world. So we should no longer call it just cyber security. We should call it a cyber physical intrusion prevention that we need to bring in. So this intrusions which are happening are on a daily order. Some fail, maybe 1 in 100 succeeds. So it is extremely critical that we should be very much on the lookout to ensure that we don't have this sort of problem happening. I don't know how many of you are aware. In India, at least, no one reports any attack. That's another strange thing which we have. We live in a major denial. If an attack happens, also, no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to propagate the lessons that they learned from it. One major embarrassment which has happened is, I don't know how many of you are aware, is the AIMS incident which happened 2 years back, when the AIMS system was shut down for nearly a month, and admissions and even the ticket also had to be issued by hand. And people were weeping. I mean, the doctors and the staff were weeping for 1 month almost until they could restore the systems. An attack happened on the Tata Power in Mumbai. Now, I've asked Tata Power people, at least, I'm also incidentally a shareholder in the Tata Power plant which is there in Maithan. But none of them are forthright about telling us what exactly happened, how it happened also. I've asked people at the top level, I've asked people at the middle level, I've asked people at the lower level, what happened? No, they will not tell. The only common thing that they keep saying is, it's going to affect our share pricing. We don't want to talk about it. But I tell them that, that the cyber attack has happened and, it has already impacted your share price. So what's the problem now talking about it? No, they'll not talk about it. I suppose if our CSRT has some issues of, has a case study about it or something of that nature, definitely it should be a very good way of learning from it. Major development which is happening now is in the artificial intelligence sector. Now, artificial intelligence sector has developed to such an extent that it is now extremely difficult because we are still learning what AI is. I don't know how many people have started using ChatGPT at least, but we are still learning and hackers have already picked up AI. Now, an AI level intrusion in the cyber physical world is going to be a killer. We don't have any tools to prevent it. See, our way of approach is that we have 3 levels. Prior to an event, during an event, and after an event. Prior to an event, what do? We have certain predictive measures, alert systems, how do we take out the shocks and how do we keep operating? So we have predictive maintenance and forecasting and threat protection systems which we normally have. During an event, what do? We basically find out through anomalies. You detect an anomaly, if something is going wrong. That's when we do something. Then we adjust the grid dynamically, monitor the grid and reconfigure it, and maybe do a little bit of load balancing. Restorative measures are normally is what we basically get back to normal. How do we do it? We set in some self-healing strategies. This is again AI, again self-healing strategy, outage management systems, and post-event analysis, and so on and so forth. These all are definitely not impregnable. Intrusion can always happen, and there is no way in which we have enough systems now to hold it. So that means now the level of learning that we need to do is many-fold. It's just not the current way of doing an ISO 2000 27001 and probably doing a thorough audit and having people in position and doing something of that. No, we need to be better equipped now. We have to go to a next level, a higher order equation. Maybe we're operating at maybe 2G level or something of that level. We now need to operate at 5G level. So that's at least 3 generations above we have to start operating. So people need to wake up. I was present in the meeting at Patna where Honorable Minister for Power was also there, and The power ministers were also present in the meeting, and the utility MDs were also present in some places. But I somehow felt actually, that it's very not very being handled very well. See, first and foremost is the governance structure. The current governance structure that we have at the utility level, well, you should have a proper ring fence CISO, then you should have a dedicated cybersecurity team, then you should have, CCMP. In fact, there is another problem with our cybersecurity measures is the amount of jargon. CII, CCMP, CISO, and so on and so forth. Sometimes any person who is a CEO or the MD will get confused with the acronyms. So the CISO's responsibility also is to clarify what the acronyms are and ensure that things do go forward. With respect to cybersecurity preparedness, in fact, there is very little compliance to happening about the cybersecurity audit. Vulnerability management issues are always an issue. Isolation is not really happening well. In fact, the separation between the air gap between the IT OT and ensuring that even the IT systems like your websites and your whatever front facing systems that you have to the public, your SCADA, etc., are definitely should be isolated well. And most importantly, we are not allowing this. We don't have a proper remote access being regulated properly. What we do through VPN and so on and so forth. Skill and enterprise, well, nothing much has happened. We still mostly depend on outsiders to help us, consultants and some of these hotshot people who come in and tell us that this needs to be done and that needs to be done and so on and so forth.
Hey, 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 there's this story. Hey, 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 this, hey, hey, this, hey, 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 this,
Hello, check, 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 check. Hello, check.
Saya dengerin minggu
power sector. So all the esteemed delegates who are still outside, can we please have you inside the hall so that we can begin with the presentation, please? May I have your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen? The registration kits that has been given to you has a booklet and it has a feedback form. So I request all the delegates to kindly fill up the feedback form till the time we begin with our technical presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? You will be having a booklet inside your registration kit which will have a feedback form. I request all the esteemed delegates to kindly fill up the feedback form and we will begin with our technical presentation session very soon. All of you will be having a feedback form in the registration kits which have been provided with you. I request all the members to kindly fill up the feedback form. In the meantime, we will very shortly begin with our first presentation of today's session, that is cybersecurity in power sector and role of CSIRT-Power. If we have all the delegates inside the hall, do we have all the delegates inside the hall? Then we can start with the technical presentation. Okay, so now may I invite the team from CSIRT-Power, headed by Director CSIRT-Power, Sri LKS Rathore, on the dais to deliver on the topic cybersecurity in power sector and the role of CSIRT-Power. So please.
Thank you very much, madam. Now I request to the Sri N.S. Mondal Sahab, for the session chair, and ED operation, Tarun Kumar Sahab. Please come in the dais for the session chair. Sir Tarun Kumar Sahab and Mondal Sahab. Please, sir, only 15 minutes, sir, 15 minutes. 15 minutes is there. So there are 4 sessions, and I requested to the our presenter, please, sir. Presenter, I requested to the presenter to confine with the 15 minutes. Is दो ही रखिए So I requested to the session chair, Mondal Sahab and Tarun Kumar Sahab, to give permission to start our session. Sir, we have the limited time, 15 minutes. I again requested to the my presenter to complete their presentation and convey their message to our participants within a time frame only. Our first presentation is on the CSIRT-Power initiative of the Ministry of Power. It was made by the Deputy Director Sri Pratik Srivastav. Now I request you to Pratik Srivastav, please come, and by the permission of the session chairs, you may start the session, please. Pratik.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for giving this opportunity and for this wonderful initiative taken by you. And I thank all the dignitaries, Mandal sir, Jagtap sir, and sir ED sir and respected dignitaries from DVC, and especially DVC for organizing this wonderful event at this wonderful venue. The weather is also on our side, slightly. I think it's pleasant. So I'll request to put on my yeah, thank you. So I'll be presenting upon the cybersecurity in power sector and role of CSIRT-Power in ensuring the cybersecurity in power sector. So please go on the next slide. So this is the basic outline which I'll be covering. So we are short on time, so we'll be skimming past some of the general stuff and just move on to the specific areas of CSIRT-Power. So first I'll be going through the cybersecurity general overview, what is it and why is it necessary, how it affects us. Then cybersecurity in power sector, why is it important, what all is happening in power sector. Then CSIRT-Power, what are the roles that are assigned to CSIRT-Power, how is it established, what is it doing, and then some achievements that we have achieved till now, and the way forward that we are envisaging to take the CSIRT-Power in collaboration with the general power sector in the India. So next slide, please. So as we all know, cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, networks, programs from digital attacks. Of course, cybersecurity is, as the attack surface is increasing, we are relying more and more on digital technology, and every aspect of our life is affected by cybersecurity and the cyber threats lying therein. The attackers and the malified intention people are also progressing with the technological advancement, and there are various advanced methodologies of cyber attacks. So I'll not be going much deeper into it. So kindly proceed. Next slide. Thank you. So we all may have come across such type of documents where we are seeing some law enforcement agency, some letter that, or maybe over calls or video calls nowadays. We are getting video calls of some police inspector, with some backdrop of some emblem of India or some law agency, and being accused of doing something we are not aware of. So mostly we should be aware of these things. We should not fall into trap of these things. We should check the authenticity before acting on anything. So such type of things are very much common. Please, next slide. So these are some of the alarming figures. This is the official data taken from data.gov.in. On the left side, we see the table. This is the year-wise number of incidents of digital arrest scams and cyber crimes reported on National Cybercrime Reporting Portal from 2022 to 2024. As you can see, the defrauded amount in the final column on the left side table, you can see in 2022 it was 91 crores. And by the end of 2024, it has risen to nearly 2,000 crores. So you can see just maybe it's we are reporting more, we are becoming more aware, but you can see that it has grown such huge amount. You can see in the bar graph also, the right side, the column on the right side is, it's showing at least 10 times, 20 times rise in the crimes. On the right side, we have the table detecting year-wise number of cybersecurity incidents as per CERT-In from 2020 to 2024. You can see the number of cybersecurity incidents rising from 11,58,000 to nearly 20 lakhs. So these are also depicting our, our awareness that we are reporting such crimes and such incidents, but also the attacks that face and the sophistication in attacks that are increasing and that is affecting everybody. Please, next slide. Some of the common cyber attacks, you may well be aware about this. Malware, then malicious software like viruses and worms are deployed to gain unauthorized access. Then there is phishing, the most common type of cyber attack, where attackers impersonate to like the trusted entities and trick the individuals for sensitive information and data. Then we have denial of service and dedicated denial of service attacks, wherein the some web portals or important portals where the general public is interacting is taken down by the persistent attack on that. Then we have SQL injection where vulnerabilities in the websites are exploited to take out some personally identifiable data, some sensitive data. Next slide. So some of the cyber attacks on power sector, I'll not go much deeper into it. It's very well known. In 2014, the US energy sector was attacked by Russia, state-sponsored, some adverse countries, state-sponsored hackers. Then 2013, Turkish power grid attack. Similarly, 2016, Ukraine's power grid attack, the Indestroyer, very well named, which caused the malware attack on the Ukraine's power grid. Please, next slide. 2015 attack on the Ukraine's power grid is the by far the most sophisticated one and very, having vast impact. In this, as you can see, the attacker on the right side in the graphical representation, you can see the hacker tried to gain access through internet of the IT network of the Ukraine's power grid. Then he bypassed the firewall to reach into the OT system. And from the OT system, it tried to turn off the circuit breakers, and it consequently it changed the user name password of the RTUs and SCADA so that it cannot be taken up again. So the controller was cut off from the operation, and the entire grid was taken down. It has huge impact, and approximately 230,000 customers across Ukraine were affected by it, and it took approximately 6 hours for the restoration. So as you can see, when the attack is on IT network, maybe we can handle it. But when it reaches OT network by bypassing the firewall mechanism and the air gap by exploitation, then it becomes the real game, and then the effects are quite devastating. Next. So this is a slide depicting some of the cybersecurity preparedness in Indian power sector that is being taken by the governments. So first of all, CEA came up with the cybersecurity in power sector guidelines in 2021. It had various articles which will be covered subsequently. Then we had constitution of sectoral CERTs within power sector. Long before that, around 2014, the sectoral CERTs within the power sector came into being. Then we have comprehensive cybersecurity framework, which will be taken in detail by Shri Ashish Goyal in the subsequent presentation. And then in 2023, CSIRT-Power was set up at CEA by Ministry of Power to act as a nodal body for the coordination in cybersecurity matters for power sector. Then we are having incident analysis and follow-up of cyber incidents, and we review the preparedness of cyber in power sector utilities. Then the draft CEA regulations for cybersecurity in power sector are in the final stage, and they will be soon published, and they will give a regulatory mechanism to further strengthen the cybersecurity posture. Then the government of India, the Ministry of Power is coming up with the trusted product and trusted source for power sector. This scheme will be implemented very soon to address the supply chain vulnerabilities that are threatening the power sector. Then we are also working in the direction of establishing some testing infrastructure for cybersecurity in the power sector. That efforts are also on the way. Please, next slide. So CSIRT-Power, So as told, it was established in 2023. Then it was inaugurated by Honorable Minister of Power. Then the facility was officially inaugurated on 23rd November 2024, and we have the full-fledged with the full-fledged facility now with operational security operations center, data center, forensic capability, and expert manpower. Please next slide. So these are some of the services that are being offered by CSIRT-Power. We are into incident response, coordination, capacity building, forensic analysis, policies, and regulatory matters. Please next slide. So we have currently total of 279 power utilities across different sectors that are onboarded with CSIRT-Power. And CSIRT-Power has identified some of the gaps, like the CISOs are not from the senior level and dedicated absence of dedicated ISD team, insecure remote access, non-isolation, I mean mixing of IT and OT, critical OT, and audit there are some gaps in the cybersecurity audit as well. So we are working on that. We have identified these gaps and we are taking these matters one by one, and we'll be coordinating with the power sector utilities for closing of these vulnerabilities. Please next slide. So there is cybersecurity framework which will be taken in detail by Shri Goel Saab in the subsequent presentation. I'll request you to go to the next slide. So one of the major initiatives that has been taken by CSIRT-Power under the direction of Ministry of Power is the capacity building. Like Chairman DVC sir also pointed out, and like MS NERPC also pointed out, that capacity building and the awareness among the power sector professionals is one of the main factors that by improving in this direction, we can tackle the cybersecurity in a better way. So Ministry of Power has accorded its approval that and it is funding the cybersecurity training programs at these 4 premium institutes: IIT Kanpur, RRU Gandhinagar, IIT Kharagpur, IIC Bangalore, identified in each of the directions for the Northern Power Utilities, Western Region Power Utilities, Eastern Region, Northeastern, and Southern Region Power Utilities. And CSIRT-Power, from time to time, we are sending out the email invitations for nomination into these programs. These are completely funded by Ministry of Power. Just travel arrangements have to be made by the participants, and rest all is taken care by the Ministry of Power funding. So areas covered, we have tailored the curriculum for the need of power sectors only. We are working on the OT, we are giving hands-on experience, and all these things we are taking care of. It is tailored to the cybersecurity and power sector needs. Please next slide. So these are some of the sir.
So please nominate at the IIT Kharagpur. That may be the schedule on the 18th to the 23rd August. 18th August to the 23rd August. The 1 week program is there, and it is a tailor-made program, especially for the power sector utility. So again, I requested to the power utility in the ER and NER region, may please nominate your person, and that is only the base size is 30 only. So first come first serve type mechanism is there, but the payment is done by the us only, Ministry of Power. You need to travel only there. Boarding, lodging, everything. The training program cost is also borne by the Ministry of Power. Thank you very much.
Okay, so some of the efforts of CSIRT-Power during the recent geopolitical scenario, we have operationalized our SOC 24/7. We are continuously monitoring the power sector utilities onboarded with us, and we are providing the advisories on a specific handling of events for these different sectors of the power sector, like transmission and everything. Also, and we are coordinating with the power utilities for their enhanced preparedness. Please next slide. Next slide, please. So these are some of the, efforts of CSIRT-Power have been recognized and appreciated by some of the power utilities we have helped and coordinated with for dealing with their certain incidents. Please, next slide. Okay, next slide. So we are regularly getting the power utilities which are onboarded on the CSK Cyber Sukshta Kendra portal of CERT-In are also getting these alerts, and CSIRT-Power is coordinating with these utilities. Wherever we see some alerts, we coordinate with power utilities and handhold them into closing of these alerts and vulnerabilities. So through the efforts, as you can see, there is a rise in May 2025 during the geopolitical situation that happened some time back. And after that, we have also tried to control that situation, and we are working in trying to minimize this as much as possible. Please, next slide. So these are some of the achievements of CSIRT-Power. We have issued audit scope guidelines for helping the utilities to understand what is the scope of cybersecurity audit and how to effectively get it done. Then we have issued QCBS criteria, quality come service based, quality come quality based, quality cost based scheme for criteria for cybersecurity audit. And then we have some subsector specific advisories. Then we are drafting, we are in the capacity of cybersecurity division CA, we are also drafting cybersecurity regulations for power sector. Then we are ensuring the compliance of cybersecurity testing order of Ministry of Power, that is for testing of electronic equipment, mandatory testing. Then we have recently issued the model BOQs, Bill of Quantities, for Security Operations Center and Network Operations Center for SLDCs and DISCOMs. As per the IT rules 2018, it is mandatory for an organization having critical system to have SOC and NOC implemented at their premises. So we have issued the model BOQs for these systems. Please, next slide. And the way forward, so one of the major initiatives that we are undertaking is that establishment of federated SOC. We are trying to onboard all the utilities into our security operations center. We are trying to ingest their logs, their alerts for enhanced cybersecurity monitoring and enhanced cooperation. Then we are, as like previously pointed out, trusted product and trusted sources system are also going to be rolled out very soon for catching the cybersecurity and supply chain risks. Then we are working in the capacity building direction as well with the Ministry of Power funded programs. And we'll also be taking the regulatory compliance post notification of cybersecurity regulation. So these are some of the efforts we will be showing in the future, and we'll be requiring your kind support in this direction because, like I said, securing the critical sector like power against cyber threats is not an option. It is a national imperative to protect the backbone of economy, society, and future progress. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratik. Thanks for the your elaborated. Here one important term is the QCBS. Maybe some people not get that point. QCBS means cost, quality and cost. When we are putting the tender, the only L1 is not criteria. Quality is also given the some weightage. So 70% weightage on the cost. Otherwise, in government system, L1 is the only preferred, whatever their quality. So here, the auditor during the selection of the auditor, they had to follow the QCBS. Quality and a cost, you also give the weightage to the quality of the auditor. That's thanks to our session chairs, Mondal Sahab and Tarun Sahab. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Sir, please. Yes, yes, it is. Okay.
सुना जा रहा है? Thank you, Mr. What is his name basically? आपका क्या नाम है आपका?
Pratik.
Mr. Pratik. Thank you, Pratik, for giving a very good presentation. But I will again request Mr. Rathore, please share the information regarding the training program which you have organized at IIT Kharagpur. Date is when it is? So ample time is there, 1 month time is there. What we will do, we will circulate among our utilities So that, and you will restrict how many people we can nominate. $30 people. So no, how many days? 6 days program. It is a residential program. Have you got the nomination? Have you got the nomination?
Sir,
Already nomination is there, or some
no, we
vacancy is there?
have not received the nomination. It is in process only. We will.
No. Just give us a letter, formal
Yes,
letter,
sir.
and we will certainly restrict at least 2% from each organization. There may not be possible each batch.
Yes.
And how many batches you are going to do?
Sir, it is a basically continuous process mandate given
Right.
by the
Whatever
ministry. But
timing. That's
yes.
why I have to restrict my, for people, those who are actually on the job, those who are in the middle or lower level person, those who are associated with this type of job, that we have to screen, because sometimes what happened, we have seen that some person, those who are not that much involved, but because of some their proximity or some knowing the things, and they be nominated. So we will request every utility, and we'll
Sir,
organize it from.
Thank you for your support, sir.
And we'll
Yes.
and we'll try to do it repeatedly whenever new
Yes,
or
yes,
some
sure,
second
sir.
batches come.
Yes.
So there may be some communication gap, what I understand.
No
but
issue,
it
sir.
should not
We
be
will
there.
be coordinate with the RPC,
Yeah, please.
and RPC shall also be coordinate
will
for
coordinate.
there's a participation in the. But only thing is that we,
Not free of cost.
sir, ministry
Yes.
preferred the state utility first.
Right.
Means the discom and this one.
We'll do from that
Next
state
state that private another sector, first state
First batch
utilities.
will be from the nomination from the state utilities.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure. No issue.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to the both of sir. Your guidance is definitely helpful for our presenter. Thank you very much, sir. Now I requested to the Sri Ashish Goyal sahab and for the session chair KB Jagtar sahab and another session chair officer is Rakesh Ranjan sahab ED. Additional Secretary sahab. Sir, please, sir. Jagtar sahab and Rakesh Ranjan sahab. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Goyal sahab, please restrict to the 15 minutes. We have the limited time.
Can we have the presentation? Vikas, if you can. In the interest of time, I will keep it try to keep it within 15 minutes and try to focus on the key portions, because some of the portion has already been covered in the inaugural sessions. So now moving on to the first slide. So I will be covering threat landscape in power sector, then incident response, that is the most critical thing part of the cybersecurity aspect, then cybersecurity framework, cybersecurity best practices, and some of the critical observations that we have observed during the incident analysis at CSIRT-Power. Next slide, please. Okay, so cyber threat landscape keep on changing as new technologies are coming up, like we have seen in COVID-19. So remote access has gone at highest level, and VPN login, etc. So that increases the threat landscape also. So if we are providing the remote access or working from home, so that increases the threat landscape, and so cyber vulnerabilities are also coming up. Next slide, please. So now this is the evolution of cyber threats. If we go like in the earlier times, individual hackers were there, then motivated financial attacks were there, then organized crimes, and the people were trying to gain some financial for their financial gains, and then crippling cyber attacks on critical information infrastructure. That also includes the state-sponsored threat actors. Next. So these cyber security can be divided: perimeter security, network security, endpoint security, mobile devices security, application, and now because lot more applications are coming on the cloud and we are using the cloud services as well. So cloud securities are the utmost importance to the cloud cyber security. Now I will skip this. Next slide, please. So these are the top 8 cyber attacks observed in 2024: phishing attack, ransomware, denial of service or DDoS, distributed denial of service, man in the middle, SQL, cross-site scripting, zero-day exploit, and DNS spoofing. I would say that phishing attack. So here comes our responsibility as a CISO or already CISO as a ISD team member, that we need to educate our stakeholders, our employees for this to in order to minimize this phishing attack, because this is the most vulnerable part that attackers use. They try to send email, and if our you say that users are not well educated as far as the cyber security, they will simply click on that mail and the malware get downloaded into the system and the complete system got compromised. So here comes the responsibility of the ISD or the CISO or the alternate CISO to educate the respective users in order to be vigilant about these phishing mails. Okay, and ransomware. So whenever there is any ransomware, if we are getting any IOC or any kind of alert from any of the cybersecurity agency like CERT-In, NCIPC or CSIRT-Power, we have to act immediately so that it should not, our system should not get damaged. Next. Some of the emerging cyber attacks like deepfakes. We all know that video and audio through these kind of manipulated things, threat actors are trying to extract some financial gains. So we have to be vigilant about the deepfakes and ransomware and zero-day exploits also. Next. So in the IR, if we start, then cybersecurity life cycle is that assess of vulnerabilities, threats, and impacts. Reduce the vulnerability because new softwares are new applications are coming up. So prior to deployment of these applications into the network, we need to properly check. We need to properly simulate these softwares or the application, test these applications into our environment, and reduce the vulnerability. Then prevent attack. Okay, next please. So these are some of the key activities as of CSIRT-Power. So I will not go much detail because in the last session we have already covered into that. Only the part which I want to emphasize is analysis of cyber security incidents. This is the most important part of that we are doing at CSIRT-Power. So I will talk about this. Next, please. So incident response approach, we have the life cycle like detection, containment. We have to detect in our network what is going on. But this can be achieved only through monitoring, then containment. If there is any kind of infection we have observed, then we have to contain, we have to isolate that system from the network, eradicate. We have to recover from that attack or the malicious malware kind of a thing, and then forensic and the learning what went wrong, so that any threat actor will be able to introduce in our network. So as part of incident detection, that can be done by the utility or by agencies like CERT-In, CSIRT-Power or NCIPC or any other agency. And incident reporting has to be done mandatorily for certain within 6 hours. There is an incident reporting form available on this link. and utilities have to report to NCIPC for having the critical information infrastructure and the protected system. The NCIPC has also given a form on this link, so that has to be reported to both these organizations apart from CSIRT-Power. That I will show in the next slide. So at CSIRT-Power, we are doing the incident analysis, like we are getting information from certain NCIPC, IB, or we have taken the threat feed from the telecom SOC, that is the DOT SOC. So we are getting regular alerts, advisories, and from these organizations apart from the utility. So incident response, incident has to be reported to CSIRT-Power, then analysis of firewall logs, proxy logs, VPN, etc. As depending on the type of incident, we are doing the analysis. Then, if required, we also go into deep for the forensic analysis also. And forensic evidence is collected from the utility, images of the affected system and all. Then infected system is identified, and we will try to pinpoint the system that got infected and try to clean that system. So we are using some tools like SIEM for vulnerability assessment and log ingestion, then virus total, Shodan, Whois. These are some of the tools that we are using for this forensic. We have FTK Major, Wireshark, Autopsy, and Case, etc. So these with these tools, we are trying to analyze the firewall logs and other logs, and try to analyze the image as well. Next, please. So these are some of the type of cyber attacks that we have observed. That website defacement is one of the major concern. DDoS, malicious IP communication, and email breach. These are some of this list is not exhaustive, but the primary we have observed in during the analysis that these kind of attacks are being taken by the threat actors. And the primary we found that Luma Stealer malware and other is on a higher side that we have observed in the system. So some of the state-sponsored actors we have found is somewhere around 18 to 20%, and others are non-state sponsored actors that are being found in the during the last period of analysis. Next.
Power utilities. Basically, we analyze the so many incidences. Lumastin and Red Eco that is found in our Indian power utilities. These are the credential harvesting type of you can say the actors. Those who want to our credential and try to intrude in our system. So first they try to exclude our credentials. So I requested to the utility, please be prepared. These two are the frequently observed in our most of the incidences. So please further this to this you can say that this threat actors you can be ready for the give the challenge. Another I want to submit to our utility. Please, CSIRT-Power is for the helping and hand holding only, not for the pointing out you. Sometimes we are calling the we are requesting the data. You are thinking like this is the in my opinion, the cyber security and the cyber threats, people are thinking like AIDS. They don't want to disclose. Just our chairperson told, na, they don't want to disclose. If you are not disclose, it may be spread throughout your internal organization, maybe this spread to your connected neighboring system, and finally the cascading in our whole grid. So that's I again requested, please, whatever the happening, you can share all the facts and finding. We will be analyze that one and a hand holding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, as sir has rightly pointed out, that whatever information you are sharing with CSIRT-Power, that is confidential, and definitely that is for the helping you out in order to mitigate any kind of infection or any kind of attack. So, for these some of the major attacks that we have discussed. So, these are the logs that we want the raw logs of web server, raw logs of database, firewall, web access firewall if web application firewall if you have deployed that, and network diagram. So the thing that we have observed in most of the cases that utility doesn't have the updated network diagram with them. So we request all the utilities to keep their latest network diagram with them. And whenever you are sharing the network diagram with CSIRT-Power, there should be complete IP details of each and every device that you are sharing. Otherwise, it will be difficult to locate the location, the device in the network.
Sir, go as a last 2 minutes.
Sir,
Last
sir,
2 minutes.
I will. Okay, so mostly we will be requiring this firewall logs and application firewall logs. Next, please. Next, I will skip this. So incident can be reported to CSIRT-Power at this email ID incident.csirtpower@gov.in. This is our email ID for incident reporting. So if anything has to be shared to CSIRT-Power, you need to share it on this email ID. We will be sending you the mails from this email ID. And as our SOC is operational 24/7, so our help desk number is this. You can anytime contact on this number. Next, please. So now coming on to the cybersecurity framework part, we are sending the emails for the cybersecurity framework data that primarily consists of details of CISO, alternate CISO, ISD details, ISO, CSK onboarding details, your IT and OT audit details, when the IT and OT audit was last conducted, whether you have implemented the CCMP, regarding the details of the training, identification of CII, all these details are very much required in order to act or support you. Because at times we found that CISOs are getting changed, and if we don't have the correct CISO detail, it will delay the information dissemination. So please keep on updating. If there is any change in any of these parameters, please inform to CSIRT-Power. Okay. Next, please. And the second part is that you have all the utilities need to store the logs for at least 180 days as per the certain guidelines. Okay, certain has issued the directive in 28th April 2022 that all utilities need to retain the log for at least for the 180 days. So this will help in incident analysis, and in the absence of logs, it will be very much difficult for analysis and finding out what happened in which system. So this is a request from CSIRT also that you should have a mechanism to store the log. If you don't have the full-fledged system, at least you can deploy a PC desktop kind of a thing and configure a syslog server so that logs can be retained for at least 180 days till you have a full-fledged log storage mechanism. So that is not very much difficult, and in case you need any help, you can always contact CSIRT-Power. Next, please. So the log retention has also been mandated as per Article 5 of CA cybersecurity guidelines that log has to be retained for 180 days, because we are finding that some utilities are retaining it maybe for 90 days or 100 days or likewise, and in the absence of log, it is very much difficult for the analysis. Next, please. So in the previous session, our colleague Pratik has already shared about that training part. So cybersecurity framework data has to be shared with this helpdesk.csirtpower at the. So we are sending this email along with a Excel template to you. Okay. So it's your responsibility to fill that template. If there is any field is missing, just update that field and send it back to us timely. And training nominations can be sent to training.csirtpower. So these are some of the email IDs. For incident, we are sending from incident. For cybersecurity framework, we are interacting with help desk. And for training, we are interacting with this email ID. Next, please. So I will not go much in detail in best practices. Next slide, please. Yes, here. Just a second. Yes. the time of all security devices needs to be synchronized, because what we have found that if in the absence of this time synchronization, firewall is showing X time and your other security devices, so it will be difficult to correlate that how the threat actor has got into your network and to correlate all the devices. So it is very much required that time needs to be synchronized for all the security devices. That for that you can use the NTP kind of a thing, NTP server you can create, and time is to be synchronized. So okay, and then open ports and services to be monitored, and unused ports should be closed in the firewall and other security devices. Regularly we are sharing such kind of advisories, so please focus on these aspects. I am not going into details of each and every part. Next please. Okay, these are some of the expectations that CSIRT-Power that you need to formulate a policy. ISD needs to be formed. Regular interact with sectoral certs. 6 sectoral certs are there, like CERT thermal, hydro. So you need to coordinate with sectoral certs apart from CSIRT-Power. Then you need to monitor your network, hardening, and mock drill exercises should be conducted at regular incident. And apart from that, ATR on CSK situational awareness report to be prepared and shared timely, because CSIRT-Power is also sharing the CSK alerts with you. So you must share the ATR with CSIRT-Power and certain timely in order to close that event. Next, please. So these are some of the critical observations that CISO is or alternate CISO at senior vendor are not ring fenced. We have seen that high dependency or external OEM vendor for cyber issues. So it will be better if we try to prepare more and more in-house competency, develop in-house competency. I will not go. Then ATR I have already talked. Insecure remote access is being provided. So please stop these kind of practices. Then firewall deployed but poorly configured. If we have deployed firewall but we have configured like allow all, it has got no meaning. So firewall policies needs to be regularly reviewed. Then access control, insecure broadband connections leads, and we are getting alerts for that also. And log all I've already talked. Next. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Goel sahab. Jagsha sahab, do you want to say something? Cyber security testing. अच्छा वो BAPT के बाद.
Sir, cyber security actually sorry. So I have not touched much in detail because cyber security audit needs to be done. That from the certain empanel auditor. For IT it is 6 months the current the time period, and for the OT it is 1 month. And as far as the testing part is, there is a Ministry of Power order of 2020 that some of the they have listed that foreign that components or the devices that has been imported that needs to be tested at CPRN and some designated labs. So that is the
मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पावर का एक ऑर्डर है, उसमें लिखा है कि जो टू प्रिवेंट द एम्बेडेड मालवेयर, प्रायर रेफरेंस कंट्री से कुछ आ रहा है तो उसको टेस्ट करो, और साइबर सिक्योरिटी का कि उसमें कुछ ऐसा एम्बेडेड मालवेयर तो नहीं है, जैसे कुछ कैमरा में से डेटा जाता रहता है ना, उस टाइप का कुछ ऐसा चिप्स ना लगा हो, उसके लिए टेस्टिंग के लिए ऑर्डर दिया है. तो दैट इज द डन बाय द सम डेजिग्नेटेड लैब्स. CPRI इज द वन ऑफ देम. एक बड़ोदरा में है ईडा करके, और एक है यादव लैब है उदयपुर में. तो दिस 3 आर देयर. दे आर हैविंग देयर टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी जो एम्बेडेड रहता है उसके लिए. ठीक है. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. Thank you, Goel sahab.
Thank you, sir.
Now I requested to the yes.
Let me thank Garg Saab for the beautiful informative presentation. In fact, सभी लोगों ने शायद in past might have seen that film Jamtara related. In fact, ये जो eastern region है, that is most vulnerable from this cyber threat angle. So I think it is the appropriate place to start this workshop. I will only request our CSOs just to transmit all these learnings from this workshop to the last man of your organization, especially working in operation, because that in fact that will only uh, prove the importance of this workshop. So thank you. Workshop बहुत अच्छा.
Thank you.
Sir, one question, please.
Yes.
I am from finance. We are dealing with the OEM vendors. So you have talked about the OEM vendors. So as an organization, what would be the role from our organization to deal with the OEM vendors in connection with cybersecurity?
Sir, in the slide I have mentioned that there is a lot many dependency on the OEM vendors to manage our system as part of all the cybersecurity aspects. So we need to prepare our internal team because we are already organizing the training program that been highlighted by the sir. So we need more participation in the training program. Get our person trained who are working in the area of IT and OT, so in order to reduce the dependency on the OEM or the service providers. So that is how we can make our system more secure because our internal people are managing our systems.
Okay, sir. Sir, we have another question. Do you have any cybersecurity policy? Yes. Okay, well, I have not seen it. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू वेरी मच बट ओईएम का मैं एक बात बता देता हूँ ओईएम में बेसिकली ओईएम के ऊपर डिपेंड रहता है कभी कभी ओईएम जो है ना कुछ फॉरेन्स में भी उनका फॉरेनर भी रहते हैं तो ऐसा ना हो कि हमारा इंटरनल डेटा उधर चले जाए और उधर से लोग कुछ उसको एक्सेस करके समथिंग दे कैन नॉट आवर इंटेंशन नॉट टू डिस्टर्ब द आवर डेटा एंड आवर पीपल शुड बी इन्वॉल्व ड्यूरिंग द दिस ओईएम के साथ रहे ऐसा आपका कुछ क्वेश्चन सर अच्छा आप देना चाहते हैं प्लीज
I would like to add one more thing. You need to frame your IT security SLA, and you have to frame your IT security SLA so that that is good enough, and there should be binding on those OEMs. If there is any kind of breach or any kind of is happening, then you can yeah, SLA is security is yeah. Software bills of material you can frame, and you have to see when the equipments are getting expired, and upgrade and update is timely they are doing or not, so that you can impose some SLA, IT security SLA.
Sir, one more point is regarding this IT security SLA and enforcing this cyber security guideline and all these things. A lot of EPC contract DVC has taken now. So now the thing is that whether we should enforce the vendors, a lot of OEM will be involved. So we are Raghunathpur, we are phase 2 is coming, Koranma is coming, Durgapur we are installing new plant. So my simple question is whether we should implant something itself in the tender document or it is a post awards of activities.
Sir, if it is not tendering is done, then you can be incorporated in that one, the cybersecurity compliance. The clause in the cybersecurity guideline, it has to be, it is to be. It is to be there, but meanwhile our regulation is also coming, so the relevant clause of the regulation also you have to be incorporated in your tender. So there are two things, which is the project which is already in the running condition, already the EPC, already the some O&M is going on, there some points are there. For the incoming project, the whatever the provisions are there in the guideline and regulation, you have to be must be follow. But so far as my observation is concerned, so many senior officers from the DVC ED level peoples are there. It seems like the DVC is the highly cyber resilient. If it is not there, then it is very difficult, because all the more than the 20 EDs are present during this workshop, and so many senior officers are there. It itself seems that the DVC is the cyber alert organization. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Gupta sir. Sir, better to discuss in the lunch time. presentation. Gupta Sahab, I requested you to please confine in the 10 minutes. Okay. And also the next presenter also please have other 10 minutes. We will share the presentation. You can use that one and you can clarify during mobile number also we can share. So it is better. Please, Gupta Sahab. For that, I requested to the Sri Srinivas Sahab, Srinivas Sahab, ED,
to all of you.
and a CISO.
Welcome you all to the presentation.
Just minute. CISO Grid India, and another is the Abhijit Das Sahab, ED Engineering. Sir, please, for the session chair, I requested you, sir. Your name, please.
Good afternoon to all of you, and welcome you all to be present here. Our topic of the presentation is draft cybersecurity regulations. The draft cybersecurity regulations was circulated in the public domain in August last year, and we got around 550 comments from all the stakeholders. And after incorporating some relevant comments, we have come in the advanced stage of the regulations, and very soon it is going to be notified. And some of the clauses in the regulations are exempted, and it will be come into the effect after issuing the authority orders. And these regulations will contain around 10 chapters, 22 regulations, and 119 sub-regulations. Next, please. What are the scopes where these regulations will be applicable? All the entities which will come to the under Ministry of Powers and the attached offices of the Ministry of Power, PSUs, subsidiaries, and all responsible entities. Here, responsible entities means those entities which are having the IT and OT network both, and we are calling the entities to those which are having only the IT network. So, it should be clear that RE means we are having IT and OT both. And these are the chapters that will be covering in the regulations. Now, next. CSIRT-Powers, these are the second chapter of the regulations, and our colleagues previously has already given the functioning of the CSIRT-Power, so I'm not going to focus more on this. So please go next. The third chapter is cybersecurity requirements. These are the general requirements to any entities. So every entity should have the CISO or alternate CISO, and you know most of the entities have the CISO alternate CISO, and this should have the 3 years tenures. And these 3 years is the tentative tenures. It might be changed after coming the final regulations. Now, all the members, all the employees of the entity should go minimum 5 days in one financial year to the cyber security trainings, and it should have some cyber security policy which should be approved and reviewed by the head or board of the entity. And every entity should have the CCMP, and it should have the all. It should ensure the separations of their IT networks. Their critical infrastructure should be isolated from the internet as well as the other IT networks. So we need to focus more on our CII networks. And whatever, if you are using the cloud storage, that should reside in India. Their servers should reside in India, and we should have very strong perimeters. Goodness. If any entity is using any web-based application which is public facing, so it should be deployed after only the clearance of the audit only. If you are going to use any remote access for the, it should be used only for the troubleshooting and emergency purpose, not any general purpose. We should not go for the remote access for any general purpose. We should go only for the emergency or troubleshooting purpose only. Now we need to identify the critical and non-critical infra in your domain, whatever in your utilities, whatever you are having the systems, you should identify which one is critical and which one is non-critical. And we should have online and offline backups as well. And all details, if you are incorporate commissioning any new critical infra, then you should intimate to the CSIRT-Power at earliest. Next. if we are having backups, whether online, offline backup, it should be stored in a very safe and secure manners. And communication channel of the OT as well as the IT networks, it should not be the same. It should have the different OT and IT channels. Now, every entity should maintain their asset registers. In that asset registers, we need to include these informations like what ownership, hardware details, firmware details, and what patch configuration, network configuration, and every utility should have the maintain the CRAM plan like maintenance. Now these are the chapter 4 additional requirements. In the chapter 3, it was only for the entities. Now, in addition to that chapter, for RE means whosoever have the OT network, they should have the ISD. Information Security Division, they should have that division will be headed by the CISO. And in that division, sufficient manpower should be there and they should be posted for some specified period. So, and whosoever in the ISD divisions, they should go mandatory cyber security training courses with the power sector for the specified age in a financial year. And OT system should be isolated from IT as well as the internet. Now next. Now the fifth chapter is roles of the CISO. Here the roles of the CISO will include if any incident is happening in your organizations, you should intimate within 6 hours to the CSIRT-Power. And if any cyber support is, suppose it is impacting very large scale, then we call it as cyber sabotage. And if it is there, then you have to report to the CSIRT-Power within 24 hours. And sharing of detailed report, detected cyber security incident, action taken reports, all you have to share with the CSIRT-Power. And go next. CISO need to ensure the firmware and software updations of all critical system should be patched only by the patched digitally signed by OEM. It should not be randomly patched. Now, storage of all the ICT systems as per this regulation, it should be for the period of 180 days. Now, we need to update our asset registers regularly, and as well as our critical system, as well as our crime plan. If you are updating, it should be updated. Go next. Now the sixth chapter is cyber security policy. So every utility should have their own cyber security policy. In that policy, these are the things that need to be included. Means it should have whatever the defined roles and responsibility, defined procedures, and to prepare the cyber asset registers. You need to identify your systems, classify the systems. Then you need to have your crime plan. Then you need to have your mechanism to deal with the vulnerabilities, whatever the vulnerabilities you are getting in your critical system. That mechanism should also be included in your cyber security plan. And you need to have a procedure in your cyber security plan. Need to have procedure also to identify and report the cyber sabotage system to the external stakeholders. Means okay. Now, in this cyber security policy, it should also include the supply chain risk management process. Also should also be included to identify the cyber security risks associated with the supply chain, because supply chain is the main issue. In this scenario, a lot of supply chain issues are there. So we need to more focus on the supply chain. Now it should have remote operations. If you are operating your OT devices, you should have your defined procedures of the remote operations. And if you are first, we need to avoid the remote operation. If it is business requirement, then we have to make the assessment of whatever the risks we are going to get with the remote operation. So you need to have your risk assessment, then only you go for the remote operations. You need to ensure the online and offline backup data of the critical system. It should be up to date. It should not be older than 1 month, and it should be retained in the very separate and secure environment. Further, it should be regularly updated. And there should be also a phase out plan for
गुप्ता
obsolete
गुप्ता साहब
assets. Yes.
लास्ट 5 मिनट थोड़ा जल्दी करिए
Acha, okay. Go next. Now we have the data retention policy. We should have one data retention policy. In that, we should have two working backups. Suppose we are keeping the backup, that should have not only one backup, we should have two working backups. And we need to have the risk assessment. Then we need to retain the reports of the FAT and SAT. Then we go for the cyber security audit. It should be retained for the last 3 years. Then logs of the IT and OT system should also be retained for 180 days. Next, now CCMP. Every utility, most of the utility has prepared the CCMP. So these are the points that while preparing the CCMP, they should have all these points. Go next. Now the vendor requirement. This is the almost utilities are engaging the vendor. So these vendors, they should ensure that the vendors they provide the recovery plan of the restoration of the systems. Suppose any cyber incident is happening, then they should provide, vendors should provide all the restoration mechanism, how to recover this crisis. Then also you need to ensure with the vendor that ensure the availability of the security patches and updates of these systems available throughout the contract period. Even if, and the third point is the important point, if the product is nearing to the end of the life or end of the support, but it should provide, their support should be available in the market. So vendor, you need to ensure with the vendor that the after expiry of your contract period also, your system support should also be available in the market. Now the fourth, last point is the SBOM, as CERT is already has issue a guidelines on SBOM. So we should have all the detailed list of the software components and other things in the now cybersecurity audit. We need to conduct the cybersecurity audit as per the guidelines. Right now, guidelines is effective by the CA. So as per the scope of the audit guidelines, we have in the November last year, we have issued the cybersecurity audit guidelines by the CA. So the scope of the cybersecurity guidelines will be taken by this document. Now utility are mandated to conduct the periodic audit of the both IT and OT system, and it should be audited through the auditors of the certain panel auditors, and auditors should submit its report within 6 weeks of the commencement. Now, if after auditing, if they are getting the critical and high risk vulnerabilities, then that if it is high risk and critical vulnerability, then it should be closed within 1 month. If it is medium or low risk vulnerability, then it should be 3 months. But it is tentative data. In the final regulations, maybe this data, this time frame may be changed. And this CISO, the responsibility of the CISO, have to ensure that the auditor shall submit its closure report within a specified period. This period will also be mentioned in the final regulations, maybe 7 months or 8 months. So, and the one last very important point, CISO MOP can seek audit reports of any utilities at any point of time. And if he is not satisfied with that audit report, then he may order for the third party audit, and the cost of the third party audit will be borne by the utilities. Now these are the scope of the cybersecurity audit guidelines that has been issued in the previous November. So it has the part 1 and part 2. Part 2 will be dealing with the VAPT. If you are going for the VAPT, what should be the scope to be taken, that is mentioned there. In the part 1, we have the basically what should be the cybersecurity posture, policy, procedures. Next, audit scope. These are the points in the audit scope that need to be incorporated. Go next. And if you are going for the VA, then these are the points that to be included in the scope of the VA. Go next. Now in the PT, if these are the points in our scope, that should be, these points should be incorporated. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gupta sahab. And now I request to the Sri Srinivas sahab. Do you want to say something, sir? That's okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Gupta sahab. We'll take the question after that one. Now I request the fourth presenter, and he is the cyber security man of the grid operation. Uh, A.B. Sen Gupta sahab, please. For that, I requested to the Sri Ganesh Sahu sahab, Director NCIIPC for session chair, and S.N. Datta sahab, ED. Please, for the session chair. Sir. Sen Gupta sahab. 10 minutes, sir. Please. Otherwise, your meeting will be delayed.
First, 10 seconds for thanking BBC CSIRT for organizing this type of workshop and gathering so many senior officials for the initiative and obviously giving us the opportunity to present. Now, I will present ISO 27,000. In fact, you were late, am I not? Up to the last? Okay, thank you. It gives me a comfort. So I will be deliberating. It should be from here. Thank you. So for the next 10 minutes, I'll be trying to have a very simplistic idea of how ISO 27001 can be implemented. We all know that ISO 27001, the information security management system, is one of the most strongest pillar of implementation of cybersecurity, of information security, and getting accustomed, audited, and have that assurance that, okay, you are cyber resilient. But we have seen that most of the utility struggle at times to implement the ISO 27001 suitably, properly in their day-to-day activities in their main operation, and ultimately they basically sort of fall into the trap of the consultants who give them a model type of a thing, which is not exactly aligned with their business requirement. So next 10 minutes, let us forget about the clauses. Let us forget about 27001. Just let us try to have a very simple glimpse of how we can take our business or our day-to-day functions in a information resilient or cyber resilient way. Next slide, please. Next. Okay, okay, stay here. So why it is important? Why ISO 27001 is so important? There are a lot of regulations which has came in CEA. There are a lot of things which has been told, okay, we need to improve the storage, we need to improve the visibility. So a lot of technology issues we have already discussed. But you know, when we talk about cybersecurity or information security, it's important that we cover all the three aspects of our business: the people, the process, and the technology. Most of the other things basically concentrates on or ensures security in your technology part. Even basically the various audits we do conduct, like VAPT, etc., concentrates on the technology part. And the most two vulnerable area, the people and the process, they basically remain unnoticed. 27001 implementation, if you do properly, encompasses all these three pillars and the security is being ensured. Next slide, please. Next. Okay. So I'll be keeping this here, but better we don't refer this now. The point is, when we do ISO 27001 implementation, we always get confused by various clauses, various documents, and sometimes we are basically implementing, rather we are trying to be compliant to ISO 27001 requirement rather than implementing that. So how we can make ISO 27001 implementation very simple? So when we do any business or when we do any process, forget about a big business like DVC, etc. Our day-to-day activity, what we do, we basically first try to identify what actually I am trying to do. What is my aim? What is my objective? So what is the context of my business? What is the context of my operation? And then when I can identify the context of that operation, what we need to do, basically we need to try and understand what are the issues, what are the good or bad issues which can come. Many times we take the issue word in a way that it is negative. No, 27001 implementation or for any sort of implementation as such, for a standard, issue means anything which can be influencing your business. So it can be good, it can be certain opportunity, it can be bad. So once we identify the issues as well as we try to identify who are the internal and external stakeholders, influencers in my business organization. Why we try to identify that? See, whenever suppose this DVC is organizing this type of a workshop, when they are organizing this type of a workshop, obviously they have tried to identify what are the issues. Maybe rain is one of the issue when they have tried to identify the venue, the time, maybe the availability of the senior dignitaries. All those issues they have tried to address, as well as they have also identified who are the stakeholders who will be coming in this sort of seminar. So why we need to do that? See, once we do that, we only can I understand that what exactly are the requirement of the stakeholders and how I can fulfill those requirements in a secured manner. So now, once you agree that okay, what we need to do is we need to identify the issues, we need to identify the internal and external stakeholders. Your clause 4 of the standard is completed. So now only you need to do is basically you need to just document that thing. You need not to go to any consultant. You need not to understand basically or refer the certain documents. You have to just put your mind. All the senior dignitaries are here. You can put your mind and say, okay, when I'm running this business, this is the context of my business. And these are the internal and external issues. And these are the internal and external stakeholders of my business who will be influencing my business. Once you do that, no other consultant can give you any further input or improvement in satisfying clause 4 of ISO 27001. Then comes, once you have identified, okay, who are the major point, or what are and who are the people or the processes you need to address. You need to understand that, okay, where from I will get the support, who are my leadership, who will be leading this entire team, who will be leading individual processes. So what you need to do, basically already you have identified, only maybe you need to document what are your organization chart, how basically who is playing what role, and the most important thing, many times we miss that, what are the roles and responsibilities and authorities of individual in the organization. Now you'll find that many a times you'll find in your organization there are people mostly in the younger age or mostly in the junior level who maybe is knowing what he is doing, but he don't have it documented or he don't know exactly what is the role he is playing within the organization. And more importantly, he don't know what exactly is his authority. As per the delegation of power, what type of spending he can do, what type of sort of approvals he can give. So many a times you'll find, as we don't know that, the processes are get lingered, and there are more chances of information security breaches. So we need to identify what are the leadership, and then obviously plan my entire information security based on this leadership. One of the most important clause in ISO 27001 is this para 6. The para 6 basically creates the entire foundation of 27001, and I would request every one of you who already have implemented 27001. In this context, I also should congratulate most the utilities who have implemented, especially the NER utilities. The sort of implementation rate in NER SLDCs is the highest in India. So there's a really a point of praise for them. Now, when you are implementing, the point is that in this planning part, I would request, please don't allow any consultant to work on this planning part, because consultant don't know your business. And if you plan incorrectly, basically the entire process will be jeopardized and your 27001 implementation will be only a compliance. Can I move to next slide, please? We'll come back to these clauses next. So, in the planning, the most important thing is risk assessment. If you go to clause 6, the most important part it gives is basically risk assessment. in our 27001 journey, it is important that we do the risk assessment properly. That is the foundation of our 27001. And how we can do that? We can identify the processes. What is the risk? Risk is basically uncertainty encrypt in your processes. Whenever you are in doing a process, you are giving some input and you are expecting certain output. And there could be certain uncertainty in this entire process of giving the input, processing that input and getting an output. So all this uncertainty basically turns to a risk. And if we can identify all our risks suitably from the perspective of information security, then only we can block those risks. We can control those risks. And how we can control? So the most important thing here is when we are identifying risk, how we can do? We can only try to identify the processes and try to identify what are the uncertainties within that processes. So you need not to go to a consultant. Each and every individual of the organization can just sit, write what are the processes in which he is involved and what type of uncertainty he feels or he sees. So those are the risks. Now, risk basically mathematically is the function of severity and likelihood. Severity means that uncertainty, how severe it can impact. Likelihood means how frequently that uncertainty can happen. So based on that, you can calculate or prioritize your risk. Which risk you need to address early, or which you may address or you may not address. You can assume or accept. Now here, one thing I would like to again highlight from the perspective of implementation of this risk assessment at the utilities, we normally don't identify the legal requirements in the risk identification. Please identify the legal requirements. When you are identifying the risk, you need to identify whether that compliance is a legal compliance requirement or not. Like, say, 180 days retention of log, it is a legal requirement. So when now suppose you have a process and you may think that, okay, I need not to retain log for this process for 180 days. That is not required for me. Maybe your process is saying that. But as it is a legal requirement, you have to comply with these laws and you have to keep the logs for 180 days. So that type of legal requirements you should always identify once you identify the risk. And once you are identifying the risk, what you need to do is basically you need to control the risk. You need to minimize either the severity or the probability of that risk to happen. And once you are controlling that, you need to put various controls. Next slide, please. You can put various controls to minimize the risk. Next slide, please. So, I don't have much time to deliberate on this, but I would like to highlight one thing. Whenever we think of control, we think, okay, control means I have to put certain technology. I have to put a firewall, I have to put something. And normally we fall in trap of people who are selling technology to us. But control is not exactly putting technology. There could be layers of control. You can see this. The best possible control is elimination. When I was implementing, or we implement in Grid India the cybersecurity practices, what we have seen, say in many of your organizations, you will see that there are plenty of web applications you have created, automations you have created, and those are exposed to public. Those are requirement of some of your operational people, maybe some of your C&M people or someone, and you have created that and you have been then exposed that to public. And when you are exposing that to public, basically you are exposing that to a risk. Now, how to control that risk? Obviously, you're thinking, okay, I need to put a web access firewall or something like that. I need to have access control in this, etc., etc. Why don't we think, are these exposure to internet for all these applications required? Are these being accessed from outside? Is it for public or for my internal use? If it is for my internal use, I only can cut off that from internet and put a web application within my intranet. That will eliminate my entire risk. I need not to spend on controls. So that is how you need to evaluate exactly where you need to put what type of control. The best possible way of control is elimination of the risk or substitution of that thing. Engineering control, which basically we mostly do, you'll find in our entire risk assessment, you'll find mostly maybe 99% of your risk assessment controls are engineering controls. Engineering controls in the hierarchy comes in much later stage. So please try to reevaluate your risk card and try to implement more from this elimination or substitution rather than putting engineering control, because engineering controls are more likely to fail than any other of these controls basically. Obviously, administrative control is much weaker. It goes like this hierarchy of implementation of the strength of the control. So now, once we have implemented the control, we can go back to that the previous and previous slide. Next, previous, one more, yeah. So once we have done the plan part, we need to understand who will be giving my support, who will be implementing those controls. Maybe a vendor, maybe my internal team, who will be doing what are the supports I require, what are the fund I require, and that comes in clause 7. Then we come to the operation part. Why it is important that we do entirely thorough implementation of this clause 6 and 7 before we come to the operation, because most of the time operation part is the most easiest part and we do it day to day. So whatever we are doing day to day, in operation part, we only need to keep proper logs, monitoring of those logs, the documentation and record of all those controls which we have implemented in clause 6 or we have planned in clause 6 or 7. Important thing is when we do this type of operation of all the cybersecurity practices in 27001, I am just concentrating on 27001 implementation over here. Controls have been identified in 27002. If you have already implemented 27001 2022, then you will be finding there are 93 controls which has been identified. Earlier version 2013 we're having 118 controls. So the controls are already there. Please refer ISO 27001 2019, which is specifically ISO 27019, which is specifically talks about power sector related controls which can be applicable. So I don't have much time to deliberate. I was having certain slides on that, but I don't have much time to deliberate on those. So
Sir,
you need to
last 2 minutes, sir.
2 minutes. So you need to refer those. Point is, we normally concentrate more on operation rather than post-operation thing. Post-operation performance evaluation. What we understand from performance evaluation, maybe audit. But actually, I'll just give you one very simple example of very practical what we have faced during one of our audit. For implementation of various standards and controls, but there are certain controls of measuring pollution, air quality, noise quality, etc. in some of our places. I'll not refer the names, etc. What I have seen. Now, the organization has very systematically and categorically ensured that they, on a specific defined period, measure all the air parameter and the water parameter, the noise, everything. And they have kept a beautiful record of that. When the auditor came, they have shown all this record to them. What has been observed, there is a huge variation in the air quality. All are basically, all are above the required quality level, but there's a huge variation. In some of the area, there is a huge, very high luminous intensity of, in those areas. And why it is required, it's not been documented. So what is happening when we are questioning them that, okay, you have done the measurement, whether this measurement is well within the limit? If it is well within the limit, then also is it justified to have that type of a variation? So they never have thought of that thing. They never have basically evaluated. It's something like that. I am a sugar patient. So I have been told by the doctor in 3 months you have to do a HbA1c. So I am in each 3 months interval, I am going and doing a HbA1c. But I am not basically seeing what is the variation in my HbA1c. So basically what I am doing, I am just complying to the requirement of the measurement. So in the performance evaluation, it is very important that whatever the measurements, etc., of the controls we are taking, please reevaluate the second order of derivative, how it is changing, what are the rate of change, whether it is justified, whether my control is effective, or I need to put more control, whether I can reduce my cybersecurity through the control, or it may be over-engineered, I need to reduce that. So cybersecurity audit, VAPT, all those things comes under the performance evaluation, and final improvement, only 30 seconds on improvement. Whenever we talk about improvement, what we try to do, we try to eliminate whatever the finding. So, improvement tells about two things. One is correction, second is corrective action. So what is corrective action and what is correction? Basically, when we find a discrepancy, a gap, a non-conformity in the entire implementation process or the operational process of our standards, whatever it may be a cybersecurity standard, then first and foremost what we need to do is basically eliminate the reason. The problem has to be corrected. But is it the only thing we need to do? Because then there are always probability of the problems getting repeated. Okay, sir. So, what you need to do, you need to go for a root cause analysis and try to find out why the problem has occurred, so that you can eliminate that why. Then only your correction is complete. So that's the last part, improvement. Once you do this, your cybersecurity, your ISO 27001 implementation is very smooth and simple. So I'd once again try to deliberate on this, that please try to have this information passed on to the people working at the working level and get the cybersecurity 27001 implemented through them, not through a consultant. Thank you.
I would like to add one thing. ISMS should be implemented in such a way that we should have the motive to mitigate the risk and minimize the risk. Means whatever is perceived.
Thank you very much, sir. I thanks to all our presenters and who are generally covered this whole topic of the cyber security in a broader way, simple, and we can share this presentation to the each and every participant so that it will be helpful for you. And if you have any the problem, any understanding, then you can be directly contact to the presenter as well as the CERT-Power also. Now I hand it over to the CISO DVC for the board of time. Thank you very much. I चल नहीं रहा है आपका डुप्ली given the paucity of 1 minute. But it would not be possible, and it will not be justice to all the people who are involved into this. So, good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a great honor for me to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing team at the conclusion of today's highly engaging workshop organized by CSIRT-Power. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to respected Chairman DVC, Sri S. Suresh Kumar, IAS, for gracing this event with his presence and sharing inspiring insights. Sir, your words have set the tone for the day and reminded us of the critical importance of cybersecurity in today's digital landscape. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Rathore, Director, CSIRT-Power. Sir, we are very thankful to give this opportunity to DVC to host this CSIRT workshop and the CSCF meeting in the next half. Sir, your efforts ensure that we continue to build a secure, vigilant, and resilient ecosystem across critical infrastructure. A deep gratitude to Member Secretary ERPC, sir, Member Secretary NERPC, ED and CISO Grid India, ED, ERLDC and Chairman CSCF, Member Technical and Member Finance DVC, Director NCIIPC, for your constant support, guidance, and visionary leadership. Sir, your encouragement continues to motivate all of us to strive for excellence in strengthening cyber resilience in the power sector. We are also gratitude to all our executive directors, CGM, senior GM, and other senior officials
who has taken time to present here today, and we are thankful for your valuable inputs and continued commitment to collaborative cybersecurity initiative. Your presence reinforces the importance of cross-sectoral engagement in addressing emerging cyber threats. To our esteemed speakers and subject matter experts, thank you for sharing your time, expertise, and perspectives. The session were both informative and thought-provoking, and we leave today better informed and better prepared. Our sincere thanks to Sri Sanjay Sharma, head of DVC ALDC, and his entire team for hosting this crucial workshop and facilitating upcoming CSCF quarterly meeting in the second half. A special word of appreciation goes to the organizing committee, technical team, and support staff whose dedication behind the scenes made this event seamless and successful. Finally, to all the delegates from Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, Assam, Mizoram, Tripura, CSC, NIPCO, and West Bengal. Thank you for your enthusiastic engagement and contribution to the discussion. Let us continue to collaborate, share knowledge, and work together towards a more secure future. Thank you once again, and we look forward to meeting you all in the next edition in some next place. Jai Hind and stay cyber safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request the senior executives from CSIRT-Power team, Eastern Regional Power Committee, NERPC, Grid India, NCIIPC, and Damodar Valley Corporation, and the CISO of the utilities present with us to kindly come up on the dais for a group photo on this occasion. The team from CSIRT-Power, ERPC, NERPC, Grid India, NCIIPC, Damodar Valley Corporation, and Chief Information Security Officers of the utilities. Thank you, everyone. Maybe now proceed for lunch. Arrangements for lunch.
all the participants.
सर लंच कहाँ पे है?
वो बोलता है banquet hall बोलता है ना next to this hall वो लोग करता है ना
Arrangements for lunch have been made in the adjacent hall. Everyone may kindly proceed for the lunch. All the participants of the utilities may kindly come upon the dais for a group photo, please.
Let's get that point.